Hi, everybody. It's November 2019. I want to thank each and every one of you for leaving a comment underneath the video that I posted yesterday. And I asked you guys how you were feeling, especially those in upstate South Carolina, speaking about how, well, I ain't feeling very good, and I feel like something has changed. What that changes, I don't know. But something definitely has changed because I can feel it. Well, others left comments, and thank you all, you guys upstate South Carolina, leaving the comments, talking about how you are feeling. Some said everything that I said was a mirror of what they could have said or what they're feeling. I responded to one who lives in upstate South Carolina, and I said, I feel like something has changed recently, and he agreed. So, I'm sorry to hear that many of you are suffering, the toxic effects of living in a very toxic, dangerous environment now. Our water, the air, the food, everything is toxic. And this will take its toll. And not everybody is affected the exact same way. I notice that many have different symptoms from others, and it really depends on your own physicality, your own constitution, everything. And the circumstances that you live. Are you living a stressful circumstance, or are you relatively okay? Because stress is toxic. So I also want to thank subscribers for sending me along information like this. This was sent along by a subscriber. I collected rainwater, filtered it, and this came out. What is this garbage? Is it literally garbage? I thought the white was what this woman was talking about, and you'll understand why in a second. But no, this is the filter. What is this? Filtering rainwater, and this is what came out of the rainwater. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's very good. Now, I also received this from a subscriber who lives in California, Southern California. Outside her apartment, she's got this plant, and just recently, it started growing a lot of white stuff on it. Fibrous white stuff. Don't know what it is. Doesn't look good. It's all over. On the stems, on the leaves. Clearly fibrous. I just bookmarked an article that I haven't read yet. DARPA. Genetically modifying bacteria. We are living the, fiction turned nonfiction. Science fiction turned nonfiction. And unfortunately, it's a rather creepy version. So, are we breathing this in? I have no doubt. Whatever is causing this to grow fibrous material on this plant, we are breathing that as well. So think Morgellons? Well, I came across this video, and sure enough, I'm going to play it from the beginning because what is written here is very important. So, yes, everybody is asking, is it what they're spraying? Well, where else is it coming from? Or maybe it's that genetically modified bacteria that DARPA has created. Death and destruction of trees and plants. I don't know where this is, but it doesn't matter, because if you do a search on YouTube, you will find many videos like this, and coming from all different areas. Okay, I have to recommend this site again, Chemtrail Planet, where you will find a tremendous amount of information, chemtrails, and political songs, chemtrail research, videos, audios, military and government documents, articles, strange rain and snow, nanotechnology, cloud types, hurricanes, tornadoes, creating floods, weaponized weather, patents triggering earthquakes, weather maps, NEXRAD, frequency waves, fluoride, Monsanto, Wi-Fi. It's really remarkable. And I am so proud to have the creator of this site as a subscriber. Directed energy weapons, gun control, and social engineering, false flags, trolls and shills, how you can discover them. But here, dying trees is one of the categories that she has. Dying trees. Plant health. Amazing how contrails are killing the trees. Chemtrails killing my trees. Lots of videos, but a lot of very important information. Geoengineering, the dying of trees. Geoengineering, the dying of trees. Okay, who is this person? Well, it's kind of heartbreaking. She has passed on, died of cancer. Rosalind Peterson, a retired certified USDA Farm Service Agency crop loss adjuster, explains why the trees are dying. Covered with white and green fungus. And the trees here, which I'll show you in a minute, are covered with white and green fungus. Geoengineering, the dying of trees. Alan Buckman, biologist with the Department of Fish and Game for 38 years. These are no lightweights. These are experts. You'll never hear them interviewed on mainstream media. So I hope that you come over here, check out this site, circulate the information on it, circulate the site so people know what is going on. And a lot of material that I post has come from this site. So let's just listen to Rosalind Peterson for just a few minutes, and I will link below to everything, and you can play the full video by clicking on the link below in the description box. I hope it's not too loud.
Tree decline on climate change without realizing that we're initiating weather modification programs across the United States. We're conducting atmospheric experiments that are going to cause the decline of our trees, in some cases already are. And the climate change we talk about, in other words, well, we're warming, well, yes, but if we get rid of these man-made clouds from the jets, we're going to cool down, because a clear sky allows the heat to radiate away from the earth. And that's what they're not telling you. But they say, well, we're going to fix. It's a chemical fix. It's not a cure or solution. It's a fix to what we're seeing. Well, I don't want anybody fixing the climate, adding more pollutants and adding more problems for all of us, not for my family, not for your families. So this is what I'm trying to bring to you, is that this is what's going to happen on your dinner table and in your plate. Unless we take action, it's not like it's going to happen in some other country far away where it isn't going to be here to impact us. And that's why my message to you, and why I go and speak. I'm making this presentation available because it's self-explanatory for some of it when you read it. And the documents, 40,000 strong photographs and pictures, And these are government documents. These are studies. I try to put them forward so that people have leverage when they go to educate their elected officials.
And you know what? I had bookmarked several documents off of Rosalind Peterson's website, Agriculture Defense. Oh, I can't remember the exact title. Hang on. Agriculture Defense Coalition. I clicked on my bookmark documents from her site. Since Rosalind has passed on, they're gone. They've been deleted. But isn't it interesting? You always find debunking what amounts to just a tremendous amount of facts and evidence. And this guy, I can't remember his name, and I don't care. You know, he posted a video about me, metabunking me. And people actually believe. They believe, these people, that they're remarkably lying psychopaths. And they believe them over people like, who is a credentialed, qualified human being to speak on this subject. Yeah, you're not going to listen to Rosalind Peterson. You're going to listen to that metabunk. Oh, so often I hear curses coming in my mind. But you're going to listen to some idiot, psychopathic nut job who makes money off of lying. Not to somebody who's credible, qualified, and gives you facts and evidence.
What I can say is that there are lobbyists paid in Washington. They live in Washington, they reside in Washington, they're in the halls of Congress, because when I went there, I was accompanied by lobbyists going in and out of offices all the time, of the people that you elect. Now, these lobbyists are writing the legislation. These lobbyists are lobbying for their causes, whatever. In other words, it doesn't matter. But the American people are not in those offices lobbying. And what lobbyists provide is they say, I want you to support this project, this whatever. And then they give you all the research and all the information, and they educate the staff members at the local level in your communities, and they educate the staff members there. So what happens is that if the American people are objecting to it, they say, well, we believe, or we think this is happening, and they complain, but we're not lobbying on our own behalf to say, look, we have the evidence here. What are you going to do about this? We're not going down and educating them. We're not electing people at the local, state, and federal levels. We're complaining about what they do, but we're not going in and saying, look, if you want my vote, you have to do something about geoengineering. This is not going to pass. You have to speak out. And John Fitzgerald, for example, is here today. He's running for Contra Costa County, U.S. House seat. And one of the things that I decided, because I was looking on whether or not to support him, was that I wanted to know where is he going to be on these issues? Does he know about geoengineering? Does he know about these atmospheric programs? Does he know about the weather modification and the tree decline? He came to my house, actually. And what happened was, because he wanted to know, he took a tree tour in Mendocino County with me, and when he looked at the tree decline and the dying of the trees and saw the photographs of them and saw them in person when we walked around the property and other areas, when he saw that, he said, look, we have to do something about this. I get it. I get it that it isn't just my tree at my house, it's all over. So when you go to Mendocino County, for example, you go up go to Little River, for example, or you go to Mendocino, for example, on Highway 1, and you drive by, you're going to see massive tree declines. You're going to see the Doug fir dying. They're standing trees. They're a fire hazard. They're dying. all over the place. You're going to see the oaks, and not oaks with sudden oak death syndrome. You're going to see the pines that no longer have the strength to grow straight up toward the sun. But what they're doing is they start growing, and then when they get about 15, 20 feet high, they just bend over, and they're starting to lean on the trees next to them because they don't have enough energy to grow straight and tall and strong like we know them. It is the redwood trees that are in decline. Our beautiful redwood trees, the bark on redwood trees, you've all seen the pictures, you've seen them in person. The beautiful bark on the redwood trees, it's so beautiful. It's called redwood because it's the most gorgeous tree and the most gorgeous bark. And when you see the painters and the photographs of them, and you see them in person, they're stunning. And yet now, what we see is a white-green mold on them, on the tree trunks. We see that they're dying from the top down in many cases. And they say, we don't know why. And we say, well, test the soil. Aluminum is in the soil. Could that be impacting them? We say, look, you're having man-made clouds. They're not getting the rainfall that they used to, or the fogs that they used to. We're changing the climate. And they say, well, you know, it's just climate change, as if climate change meant, climate change is not a word that we can't do something about. We can do something about climate change because we are modifying the weather. We're running weather modification programs all over the place. We're atmospherically making man-made clouds that impact the weather, our trees, the climate. So this is the story that I bring to you. It's a positive story. It's a story that when we take action, we can make a difference.
Bingo. And when you listen to Rosalind talk about those lobbyists, they go to Washington, D.C., they go to the local areas, they, well, educate the local people on the issues that they want, the legislation that they want passed. We have no organization, nothing, and few take action. So of course we're losing. And the loss now is really mounting up. There are so many videos, but the reason why I chose this one, listen to what this man has to say.
2013, and I was out mowing my lawn, stopped to get some more gas, and took a deep breath and realized it didn't smell like fresh cut grass. So I was talking to my wife about it, and I come looking out on the deck, and I looked up at the trees and realized my maple tree there in the front yard died halfway up. And then this tree here died halfway up. It's still spring, it's May, for crying out loud. And without the lack of smelling the grass, it makes me wonder if the stuff these guys are laying down in the sky isn't settling on the ground and getting in the soil and killing our plants.
And it is. It absolutely is. I will link below to everything. This is just one page. The chemtrails are killing the trees. 2009. This video, I believe, is 2016. Rosalind Peterson is gone, and here is the video still fortunately posted on several channels. The geoengineering, the dying of the trees. I believe this was, well, it was years ago. I was posting videos on the trees dying 5, 6, 7 years ago. Now, we just have mass death all over. Now, what the trees are breathing, we are breathing. We are breathing. So, here's this one page, and it is filled with a lot of very good information. The ingredients that they are using to spray. Here, a book, The Dying of the Trees. Just a lot of information for those who do research. But what you will hear from tree experts, they will never talk about the aerosol spraying. And in fact, a couple of years ago, I noticed in the time period that I was here in South Carolina, which has been about, 4 years, on and off, I have noticed, certainly the past year, the rapidity with which fungal disease is now taking over every tree. Virtually every tree. But years ago, well, I saw the trees leaning, like Rosalind Peter, mentioned, and the fungal disease, not only on trees. You want to know how you know they're spraying it? It was on fences. It was on street signs. Like, we got hit with a massive dump of fungi. And I posted those videos. And came across this black metal fence. The fungal disease, the fungi on this, it was saturated. And the street signs, we're breathing this. So the cumulative effect of all of these toxins, yes, it will begin. Well, I'd love to say that it's going to show its face and everybody's going to be horrified. No. Those who are ignoring the trees that are dying, and it's obvious here, those who are ignoring what's happening in our sky, they will continue to ignore everything. As long as they don't have to face reality, they're fine. So this is really quite the blog, the Chemside conflagration. Epic planetary catastrophe. So what's happening to our trees is also happening to the four-legged, to the two-legged, to all species, to plants, trees. I love when people leave the sources, the hyperlinks, and footnote or endnote their articles. Okay. The trees are all dying in Boulder, Colorado. When was this posted? 2016. We're heading to 2020. They haven't stopped, and no, Trump is not going to stop the chemtrails. So more and more is dying from all of it. Now, I just want to read a few excerpts, which is coming up. Aluminum is very reactive chemically, and fluoride enhances the bioavailability of aluminum, allowing it to cross the blood-brain barrier easier, thus making it more toxic. We are breathing the aluminum that they are spraying in nanoparticulate form. So when you take something of a normal size and reduce it to a nano size, you're changing that material. The physical and chemical properties of that material are changed. No doubt become more toxic. Carbon nanotubes can induce inflammatory and apoptosis responses in human T cells, also likely to have significant toxic effects on human health due to their structural resemblance to asbestos, clumping together into bundles, and producing pulmonary inflammation. Several studies have indicated that carbon nanotubes, which is what they are laying out, that black carbon, they literally can create bullets, carbon bullets, that they just release into clouds. And the frequencies can make those bullets explode. So they also have the nanotubes. Several studies have indicated that these nanotubes exhibit substantial cytotoxicity in vitro, including induction of oxidative stress, inhibition of cellular proliferation, and induction of apoptosis, necrosis, the ultrafine aerosolized nanoparticles enter the body through the mouth, lungs, eyes, and skin. Chemtrails around the country contain a dangerous and extremely poisonous mix of chemicals that include barium, nano-aluminum-coated fiberglass, known as chaff, radioactive thorium, cadmium, chromium, nickel, fluoride, desiccated blood, mold, spores, yellow fungi, etc. The Department of Defense is expanding its current PZ-11X1 and PS-09B3 chemtrail distribution programs by adding aerosolized nanofluoride into its disbursement, and ingestion or absorption of fluoride allows aluminum into the brain. Besides an epidemic of acute upper respiratory ailments and gastrointestinal ailments, many autoimmune diseases have been seen in the wake of the chemtrail spraying, such as chronic fatigue, multiple sclerosis, lupus, once very rare, transverse myelitis, and meningitis. We are being made sick, and all of this is killing off not just the two-legged, but the four-legged, all species, plants and trees. Chemtrail syndrome. One of the reasons why I'm reading this is because so many are waking up to the fact that something is very wrong in our society, waking up to, the spraying, the sky that looks terrifically toxic. It radically has changed. And many of us who have been at this for many, many years, what we have noted was the increase. Year after year, they have been increasing the amount that they are dumping into our atmosphere, and everything that they're dumping, we are breathing. So nano-aluminum increases inflammation. So many of us are in pain, chronic pain. It so happens that people suffering from depression are loaded with inflammatory cytokines. Depression and cognitive decline make us paralyzed to effectively deal with the chemtrail assault on our survival. Those who are not propelled through life by an inner spark are easily controlled and manipulated by outside forces. That inner spark is living the principles that you believe that you have, living them, exercising them, getting them really strong. Now, does that mean that you will feel fabulous and be protected from, ever getting physically sick? Or no. But it means that you just go on no matter how you feel. And I understand, that the cumulative effect now is having a paralyzing effect. I am less capable of doing what I was doing not too long ago. That is the toll that all of this is taking, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same. The more chemtrails that appear overhead, the worse the following symptoms of grievous bodily harm are: respiratory problems, shortness of breath, acute respiratory distress, sinusitis, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, immune system depletion, scratchy throat, allergy symptoms, hay fever out of season, flu-like symptoms, susceptibility to colds, general weakness, chronic fatigue, brain fog, and mental and emotional problems, anger, rage, frustration issues, disorientation, and difficulty paying attention and concentrating, memory loss, anxiety, depression, lightheaded or faint, dizziness, nausea, vertigo, chronic headaches, tinnitus, which is the ringing or the buzzing or the knocking that you hear inside your head, fibromyalgia, chronic chronic pain, skin discomfort, irritation, joint pain, muscle pain, eye problems, blurred or fuzzy vision, vision deterioration, liver problems, gallbladder dysfunction, neck pain, Morgellons disease. When the aged lose their minds, what does that say about the culture at large? What does it say about the environment that we are living? We are living now the exponential increase in virtually all disease, syndromes, mental, physical. We're seeing an awful lot of people unable to restrain themselves. When your environment, when your society changes radically, rapidly, you know that it is being engineered. Now, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. The whole global warming, climate change hysteria, the extreme weather events, the flash flooding that's occurring all over, the fires that are occurring, none of this would be happening overnight. If it was climate change and global warming, it would have a very slow effect. We would not be seeing such radical changes take place so quickly. You know that change is brought about deliberately engineered by others when it comes about so quickly. So, this also was sent to me by a subscriber whom I'd like to thank. Experiment on plant growth with and without Wi-Fi. So when you're looking at those chemtrails being laid, also think about the Wi-Fi, the microwaves that they use to spread the materials that they're laying out. But even if we only had the electromagnetic frequencies taking place, they would still kill off the plants, the trees, and the two-legged and four-legged and all species. Unbelievably dangerous electromagnetic frequencies. I'm just going to play a few minutes of this.
What are we? We're pioneer scientists here. This is like a sort of experiment that it's really hard to find anything like it. So this is like pretty groundbreaking stuff. We're going to grow some plants inside of there, one of them without Wi-Fi signal, one of them with Wi-Fi signal. They're called Faraday cages. So one of them will be putting out radiation where the other one is not going to be doing that.
I don't think anything's going to happen. I don't really know.
I don't know, because it's just like this plastic thing with technology in it. But like, we don't know if that will affect the plant.
I don't really feel like radiation affects me in any way, so I don't feel like it's going to affect another living thing like a plant.
Have you done this experiment before, or is this new?
We have seen an experiment using cress seeds and radiation, but never as controlled as this one, as far as I know.
Okay, so they built the Faraday cage for the growing of plants without Wi-Fi. Why? Because the Wi-Fi was so strong in the classroom.
Yeah, one of them is going to be exposed to high levels, and the whole reason that we've covered them in tinfoil is because the environment of this classroom is filled with that. Right, so we had to try to isolate the plants inside of there and not let the Wi-Fi get in there.
I don't really know if it'll affect anything because, like, I grow plants in my, like, I have Wi-Fi in my house and I grow plants all the time and they grow fine.
It's gonna die.
Think so?
Yeah.
Okay. This is what Wi-Fi does. This is what Wi-Fi does. If you have Wi-Fi in your home, get rid of it. Because it's having an effect on you as well. So, you know what? I'm just going to just show you one video, not the whole video, just one tree. And then I'm going to have a part 2 showing you the trees here in Anderson, South Carolina. This is what I face every single day. These beautiful, magnificent trees are dying. It is all over Anderson, South Carolina now. You cannot mistake. I am unbelievable. I don't know what to say anymore. That no one is talking about this. Our trees are screaming at us. We are dying. You're doing something wrong. We're dying. Can't you see how sick we are? Loaded. And it's virtually every tree. Is this heartbreaking? Yes. Because they suffer. Trees suffer. You know, and we don't have the right to do this. They get to live a life. They have the right to live a life that's healthy and pure. And we, the two-legged, are killing them, and then all of the two-leggeds that walk around ignore their suffering. Ignore their suffering. Rosalind Peterson was right. Action. Action was necessary to beat back this evil. Action. Not waiting on somebody else to do it.